मानुष के आयत को थोड़ा
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला अशरफिल अंबिया'i वल मुरसलीन नबीना मुहम्मद व अला आलिहि व सहबिहि अजमईन रब्बना ज़िदना इल्मन अजमईन व अल्लिमना al-kitab आमीन. Okay. So like we said, we're going to do the review first, and then we're going to go over a little bit of news. Actually, lesson 11, yeah, we're going to go more over lesson 11 in the second half. But the first half, we're going to review. So let's start how we always do, and then we'll go into more of the other stuff. So as we always start off with by listing the three types of words there are in Arabic, right? So what was the first type of word that we said exists? It's called the
noun.
The noun, right? There's a noun which in Arabic is called. Anybody remember the Arabic name for it? Noun. It's called ism, right?
Ism, yeah.
Ism is the same as name.
Name.
Ism. Okay. So ism means noun. And then what's the second type of word that any word can be? A verb. Okay. A verb, and it's called what in Arabic? Fi'lun, right? Fa'ila. Fi'lun. Okay, and if it's not a noun and it's not a verb, then it has to be a nope. Begins with a P though.
Particle.
And particles are called harf. Harf with a ha. Harf means a letter, right? Harf is a letter. Okay. Let's actually start with. So we usually start with nouns and stuff. Let's start with a verb. So the types of verbs that we've done a few. One that we did was ذهب. ذهب. What does ذهب mean?
Left.
Not he left, he went.
Right.
And ذهب means he went.
Kharaja means left.
Kharaja means he left or he went out. So let's write that. Kharaja. He left or he exited from. Right? And then we also did, you might not remember, jalasa. Jalasa means he sat. Jalasa means he sat. And then there's another verb that we're going to learn in book 1. It's going to come in the later lessons. It's called raja'a. Sorry?
He came back.
He returned. So raja'a means he returned. Okay? So what do you notice about all four of these verbs?
3 letters.
They're all 3 letters, right? Dhahaba, kharaja, jalasa, raja'a. What else?
All are fatha.
They're all fathas, okay. What about the meaning? What do you notice about this? They're all in past tense. So he went, not he's going. So everything we're learning up right now is past tense so far. And what else do you notice? He went, he left. Everything is third person, masculine and singular, right? Third person, masculine and singular. So we're starting out with he. So this verb is the way that I'm writing this verb is only when I'm talking about a person who's male and it's just one person and they did something in the past. Okay? But we, as we learned in lesson 10, we learned how to say other ways. We learned how to say, instead of just he went, we learned how to say not she, you went, right? So I can change this to second person, and I can say ذهبت, which means you, masculine, went. Right? So I'm going to say ذهبت. If I want to say you, brother Anwar, you went to the market, I'm going to say ذهبت إلى السوق. ذهبت إلى السوق. Right? You went to the market. You have a question?
Did you get the list exactly for questions what we are talking about, like
We're just listing them because the book just we just list you went, so we're gonna show the hub the for female you went the hub T. So you notice how it's the hub ta and the hub T. You went, female went. Okay, and then what's I went? The hub two. The hub. The hub two is I went. So how would you say I went to the market, Sister Tahira? إلى السوق, right? ذهبت إلى السوق. So I went doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. You use ذهبت. And then how would you say did you go to the market? Talking to a male, Sister Ali. ذهبت إلى السوق. ذهبت, did you go إلى السوق, to the market? Okay? So the rest of these verbs, they can be similarly conjugated. So if you use ذهب for he went and ذهبت for you went, then if I want to say خرج for he left, how would I say you left? So I'm just gonna follow the same pattern. For ذهب, I'm gonna say ذهبت. For خرج, I'm gonna say خرجت. خرجت. Okay. خرجت is you left. And then what would be you female left? Instead of خرجت, it would be خرجتي. And what would be I left? خرجت. Okay. Let's do it for jalasa. So jalasa means he sat. How would you say you sat male? Instead of jalasa, it would be jalas male. Jalasta.
what about plural?
We haven't gotten there yet. But I think by the end of book 1 we will do a little bit of like they went. So jalasta is you went male. How do you say you went or you sat female? Jalasta, jalastis, right? So all you do is for the second person and the first person, you just change what's on the ta. Yeah, you change the fatha for you went, kasra for you female went, and dhamma for I went. So jalasta is you went male, jalasti is you went female, and what's I went? Jalastu. Okay. And then raja'a. How about we do it without writing it down? So raja'a means he came back. How do you say he came back? You came back. Sorry. Raja'ta. Raja'ta. And then how do you say you female came back? Raja'ti, just put a kasra, and then how do you say I came back? Raja'tu. Raja'tu. Okay.
So just last fatha replaced with sukun and two. That's what we have.
Yes. So this is the second person and first person. This is third person. This is you're talking about someone. He left. Right. But if you want to say you left, male or female, does it have that? And then after we do book one, we'll actually spend some time on all of the verbs and then learn the pattern of that.
So much.
You're using that book, it's not 201 Arabic verbs.
2 months here.
Yeah.
Jalasa and he said.
Yes.
How do you say she said?
We haven't learned third person feminine. Yeah. I think if I introduce it right now, it's gonna get a little bit confusing. But we will cover it. Actually, I think it's probably coming up in the next few lessons. Okay. So that's. You can finish copying that down. And then we'll do one more verb that comes in lesson 11. Okay, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, so we're still reviewing the verbs. We haven't gone to the ism yet. Actually, we'll review one thing about the ism before we jump back into verbs. So one of the things that we learned about ism was that there's 3 cases of an ism, right? So usually if you have something like kitabun, kitab, right? What does kitab end with? What does the ba have on it? Dhamma. How many? 1 or 2? 2 dhammas, right? If I want to say a book, I'm going to say kitabun. So we said that if something has 2 dhammas, or if it has 1 dhamma, what case is that? Majroor. Right, majroor. And this is the default case, right? No, sorry.
Yes,
I always say majroor. I think I made that mistake before. Marfu. Okay, sorry. Marfu is the dhamma case. Okay, dhamma case. Okay, what is the majroor case? Kasra. Okay, so when you have 2 kasras or 1 kasra, then it's majroor. And what's the middle case? Mansoob. And mansoob has 2 fathas or 1 fatha. Okay, so up till now, if you've been with the class, we've only done marfu and majroor, right? So how does something change from marfu to majroor? A harf jar, right? So you bring in a harf that pulls it down, like ila or min or fi. Like if I say ana fi al masjid, I'm gonna put a kasra in under masjid because I'm gonna say I'm in the masjid. So masjid, the ism that follows the harf jar becomes majroor. Okay. Let's so the reason I said this because now we're gonna learn how something becomes mansoob. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Okay, so lesson 11, it has a word and it's a noun and it says tuhib. Okay. And the way that they translate it, they say I love. Okay. And then there's another conjugation where they say تحب. means what? You love. So uhibbu and tuhibbu. What do you notice that's different about these verbs compared to what we wrote before just now? Dhahaba, kharaja.
Beginning and then added from the beginning.
What's added in the beginning?
Dhamma.
Instead of alif is
Okay. So
That's
the
in the
beginning is
yes.
the beginning is alif and ta.
yeah, but
So
when
that's
the
different.
verb over there it was at the end.
It was at the end. Okay. What else? Are these what tense are these? These are present, right? So it's not I loved, it's I loved. So these are both present tense. So because when you're saying you love something, you're describing your current state, right? Okay. The other thing is, actually no, we won't do that. So they don't introduce this to show you grammar for verbs. They're just doing it because it's something that you can use in speech, and you might hear it in songs or TV or something like that. Okay. But the way that
I mean, these are different type of verbs, right?
so these are no, it's the same type of verb, but it's just a present tense verb. Okay, you're only learning two ways to say it. Only I love and you love, and actually this is you love male. So if you're saying you love to a female, then it's different. But they just show it because they want to show that this is the way that it's used in Arabic, because you hear it. So if I want to say I love, let's start with something simple like I love Allah. I'm going to say uhibbu Allah. Okay? I'm going to say uhibbu Allah ha. So Allahu becomes Allah ha, because it's the object of the verb. Okay? So whenever the verb has an object, that object becomes mansoob. Okay? So whatever you love, you're gonna say that, but you're gonna say that with a fatha. Okay? Not with a fatha, but you know it's gonna be mansoob. So that's uhibbullah. I love Allah. Okay? How do I say I love the Prophet? Uhibbu. Or say Rasul. I'm gonna say the Prophet or the Messenger. Or Rasul. And how am I gonna end it? Rasulah. Right? Rasulah. Just like Allah, right? So instead of originally this was Rasul, but it changes to Rasulah when it's the object of a verb. Okay? And then let's do another one. How do you say I love the Quran? Brother Anwar. Uhibbu Al-Quran, right? And what do you put on Al-Quran at the end? Am I going to put a Dhamma, Fatha, Kasra? Fatha. Fatha just because it's the object. So you can say this for whatever. Uhibbu, how do you say my mother? Ummi, right? So you can say this to whoever. Uhibbu ummi, uhibbu abi, uhibbu binti. I love my daughter. I love my son. Uhibbu ibni. So this is ummi. Ummi. So because of the ya mutakallim, it brings everything down, right? Even if you add this to ummun, right? You have ummun, right? This is a mother. So if you add ya mutakallim to it, my mother, if you want to say that, it's gonna be ummi. So the ya mutakallim is special in that it drags whatever it's stuck to down. Yeah. But for other cases, yeah, you're gonna see. How about
So anything I say my, then it's gonna be that's my brother, my father, anything, right? Because mutakallim.
yeah, ya mutakallim just brings that down, right? But how about this? If I want to say the mother of Bukhari. So I'm not saying I'm saying I love the. I don't want to make it sound. But you can. But basically, the point is the object is gonna be mansub. It's gonna have a fatha. Okay. So for you love, it's the similar thing. So whatever follows you love, they use this in lesson 11 as a question. So you can say tuhibbu, let's say coffee. So how do you say do you love coffee? Tuhibbu al-kahwa qahwa. What am I going to put on the ta? Ta, right, a fatha. So I can say tuhibbu al-kahwata. Do you love coffee? How do you say do you love tea? Sister Tahir on the back. Shay. tuhibbu al-shay, right? Or al-shay, yeah. Shay. tuhibbu al-shay. Okay, uhibbu tuhibbu. Okay? Those are pretty simple stuff. Any questions?
For uhibbu,
Mhm.
is there any male and female that, like
No.
considered female and male and female?
Right, no, not in Arabi. In Arabi, the first person is similar for the. Any other questions?
Yeah, but you have al-kahwa.
Yes.
Do you love the coffee?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you would say that as an indefinite. So it's just coffee in general, all coffee. I think that was basically lesson 11. Let me see. Alright, the other thing, so that was basically what we learned for verbs, okay? So this is just one type of verb that we learned. It's not really going to come up again that much in book 1, but it's good to know, okay? Tuhibbu and tuhibbu. Okay, let's go back to nouns. So one of the first isms that we learned was the demonstrative pronoun, right? So how do you say if you're pointing to something that's nearby and it's masculine, what do you say? Hada. Right, hada. So hada is for pointing at something that's nearby. And then what is for pointing at something that's nearby but it's feminine, like watch or car? هذه, right? هذه. So هذا and هذه. هذه. So this is for male, and this is for female. Okay. And then we also learned how to say something that is point to something that's far away. So what's the pointing for something far away? ذلك. Okay. And what's the counterpart for the feminine? Tilka. If I'm pointing to a house that is far away, how would I go about saying it? Sister Alia. A house that is far away, and I'm saying that is a house. ذلك بيت. ذلك بيت. What if I'm pointing to a car and it's far away, Sister Tahira? تلك سيارة. That is a car. تلك سيارة. Okay. What if I want to say this is a pen, Brother Salim? هذا قلم. This is a pen. هذا قلم. And if I had a watch and I said this is a watch, Brother Anwar? Not هذا. Watch is feminine, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say
هذه.
هذه. Let's watch. Back to lesson 2. ساعة. هذه ساعة. Okay. So those were just the demonstrative pronouns. How we said you could point at things, right? What else did we do? Okay, so those were demonstrative pronouns. Then we did we did what's it called? Mudaf and mudaf ilayhi. Let's come back to that. Actually, let's do that first. So if I want to say the car of the Imam, how do I say that? Sayyaratu what? Of the Imam. Am I going to use al? Yes. Al-Imam. Imami. Right? Sayyaratul Imami means the car of the Imam. Okay? So we said that things can be used, possessed, and you can have a possessor, right? So what is this called in Arabic? Mudaf. Mudaf. And this is called the Mudaf ilayhi. Mudaf ilayhi. Okay? So the Mudaf ilayhi, is it definite? Yes. And what case is it in? Marfu, mansoob, or majroor? Majroor, right? So it's going to be always in the majroor case. So this is one of the rules for the mudaf ilayhi, that it must be majroor. And then what? So sayyara, even though it's written as the car, does it have al? No, but is it definite? Yes, right? So the rule is that it's definite, but it cannot have al. Cannot al. It doesn't have to be marfu. No. Okay? So the car of the Imam is going to be not have the mudaf is not going to have al, and the mudaf ilayhi is going to have a kasra, or it's going to be majroor. Okay? The car of the Imam okay? How would you say the book of the student? Sister Ali. Kitabu al-Talibi. Kitabu al-Talibi means the book of the student. How about the notebook of the doctor? Notebook is what? Someone help? Nobody remembers? Daftar. So the notebook of the doctor. Daftaru at-tabib. Good. Brother Anwar, what is Qittul Imam? Cat of the Imam. Qittul Imam is cat of the Imam. Brother Salim, what is Babul Bayt? The door, okay. What's Bayt? That's maftuh. House, right? The door of the house. Okay, Babul Bayt. Okay. So anytime you want to do that, you're just gonna list the objects first, and then whatever is owning the object. Okay. Any questions on that? You're saying when did the subject and the verb have to have al? You're saying when the noun and the word after the noun is both al? They're both definite. So one of the rules that we did for adjectives is that they match, right? They match in the al or no al, and they match and all that. So that's when they match. But there's okay. Actually, let me go a little. Take a step back. So what is the we learned the two types of sentences, right? Two types of sentences. What are they? Nominal and nominal sentence and verbal sentence, right? Okay, so what did we say about nominal sentences? They have two parts. What are they? They all have a mubtada. The mubtada is known as the mubtada. I know this is a lot of review. And then the khabar. Okay. Khabar, so mubtada means the subject. And then the khabar means the news or the predicate. So, the subject will most always be definite, right? The khabar is sometimes indefinite, but it can be definite. Okay. So the example of the former is like if I say al-babu maftuhun. So I have the door, which is definite, and maftuhan is open, is indefinite. Okay. So usually it follows that pattern where they don't match indefiniteness, but they sometimes do match. But it's not. But it just happens to be because of the sentence itself. So one of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ is that ad-deenu an-nasiha. Right? You've probably heard this hadith before, that the religion is sincere advice or just like advice, right? And then the hadith goes on, like the Prophet ﷺ asked, like, advice to who? And then he says to Allah, to His Messenger, to the religion, things like that. But this by itself is a jumla ismiya. This is a nominal sentence. There's your mubtada, the deen, the religion, and there's your khabar, is an-nasiha. So in this case, both the subject and the predicate are definite. Okay? So you can have that. Okay? And the predicate, if it's one word, like in these cases, it's going to be marfu. Okay? So the subject is marfu by itself. Okay? But the khabar if it's one word, it's going to be marfu, maftuhun and nasihatu. Okay? When did we learn that the khabar can be majroor? We'll just do this and then we'll be done.
The subject always can be marfu.
The subject is not always, but I think for the most cases that we're going to look at in this book is going to be definite. And marfu. But when did we say the khabar is not going to be marfu? If it's following a preposition, right? So if I say the door, if I say the door is, let's say it's from China. I don't know. It's made in China, okay? Or it's shipped from China. Min means from, right? So min is a harf that means from. So it's a harf jar, and the ism that follows it is going to be majroor. Harf jar, ism majroor. So if I say as-sin, I'm going to put a kasra under sin. Okay? The door is from China. Okay? Al-babu min as-sini. Okay, so in this case, the khabar is not one word, it's two words. So the min as-sini is just a phrase, and it becomes your khabar. But the important thing to know is that the ism becomes majroor. Okay? Then there's an ayah in the Quran. Inna dina indallahi al-Islam. Actually, no. I'm not sure about the ayah. But what if I say the religion is, or ad-din? Let's do another example. What if I want to say is in my heart? Okay. Actually, how do you say heart?
Qalb.
Qalbun. Right? Qalbun. Qalbun. Right. So we're gonna do attached pronouns. We're gonna review those on Monday a little bit more fully. But if I want to say my heart, I'm gonna say qalbi. Right? I'm just gonna put ya mutakallim. Qalbi. Qalbi means my heart. So how do I say the Quran is in my heart? Yes. Fi qalbi, right? That's it. Fi qalbi. So in this case, fi qalbi becomes my khabar. And qalbi is your mudaf and mudaf ilayhi. Right? So we're gonna go over mudaf and mudaf ilayhi on Wednesday, and we're gonna do all the pronouns like we did, like with the finger. Actually, let's review them just so that on Wednesday we're ready to do that. Okay, so we're gonna do the standalone pronouns. We're gonna start with huwa, and then after huwa is huma. Sorry, I forgot to. Huma, and then hum, and then hiya, and then huma, and then hunna, and then anta means you, and then antuma, and then you, antum, and then you female, he, antuma, tunna, and then I, ana, nahnu. Okay, who can do all of them? I know you can. Go ahead, do it.
Huwa, huma, tum.
Mm-hmm.
Hiya, huma, hunna.
Mm-hmm.
Anta, antuma, antum.
Good.
Anti, antuma, antunna. Ana, nahnu.
MashaAllah. This should be memorized.
Yeah.
This is like tasbih after salah. Huwa, huma, hum.
Wow.
Can you do it, Sister Alia? Yes. I'm trying to get everyone to memorize it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anna. How about you, Sister Tahira? And I'm gonna make you feel bad, so just so that I can get you to memorize it. Huwa, okay. Good. Good. Mm-hmm. Good. MashaAllah. How about this side? Brother Anwar, you want to give it a go?
Yeah.
Start with huwa.
Huwa. Huma.
Good.
Hiya. Huma.
Hunna. Okay. You. Anta.
Anta.
Tuma.
Antuma.
Tum.
Anti.
Anti.
Antum.
Antuma.
Antuma.
Antunna. And then what's I?
Ana.
Ana and we. How about you?
More practice.
A little bit more practice. How about you? Huwa. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You is anta. And then antuma. And then antum. You for a group of males. And then what's you female? Anti. Antuma for two females. And then group of females. Antunna. And then I. Ana. Na. So we're gonna go over that and do the attached pronouns as well. Okay, any questions?